So today there's lots of kind of topics, very, very thought-provoking, but as we've heard, dementia has actually become one of our underlying sort of causes of death, actually, one of our top leading underlying causes of death. So planning and advanced care planning is really kind of important. And I'm really pleased to invite Hayley Shields. Where's Hayley? Where's Hayley? Hayley, come on up from the hospice. So come up and talk to us about advanced care planning. And hopefully you're going to use the phrase, what matters to me, I hope.
Well, there might be some information.
Okay, I'll hand you over.
Thank you very much, thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Hayley. It's lovely to see some familiar faces. So I work with Cornwall Hospice Care. I've been a nurse there for 6 years and now work predominantly in the education team, but did a night shift on Saturday and it's absolutely floored me. I've still not caught up with my sleep, so we'll see how we go. So I'm going to talk to you today about a bit of a taboo subject, advanced care planning. Everybody heard about advanced care planning? Yeah, lovely. And planning for the future. So it can sometimes be a little bit of a difficult conversation to be had, but we'll go through and hopefully some tips and tricks. And if you come and have a little chat with us, we've got some aids that might help us in those conversations. So obviously talking about death and dying is really hard. Despite doing it every day myself, I talk about death and dying a lot. When it's personal to me, it still gets to me. So I don't know what you guys have got going on in your personal lives. So obviously it's difficult to talk about personally and professionally. So I do apologise if this touches on any private situations you've got going on in your own lives. So we've designed this session really to help you so that you can help your patients, your loved ones, your carers, and those important to them. So obviously if you feel upset or emotional, that's fine, we're only human. You're encouraged to stay, but if you must leave, please make sure you've got somebody to vent to and to talk to after the session. It sometimes can just feel a bit heavy when you're talking about death for a minute. Unless you're weird like me and you do it as a job. So obviously if we can put our phones on silent, that would be really appreciated. This is a safe space to share anything you'd like to share, or as I said, come and find me after the session and we can have a little chat. Just to be respectful of each other, and we've already been through housekeeping. I don't know about any fire alarms going off, so if it does, we just run. Okay, so we know, as you've said, that dementia is one of the underlying lead causes of death in Cornwall. So the aim is really to focus on reducing health inequalities, getting early recognition that it is a long-term condition, and preparing our patients and loved ones for their futures. So we need to understand the principles and process of advanced care planning and how this may benefit our people living with dementia in the community and in patients. We need to identify the benefits of an advanced care plan. And to us as professionals as well, the kind of satisfaction we would get from doing an advanced care plan is huge. Developing effective communication skills, and at the end of it, really, communication is the top thing in all of the things we do in our roles, isn't it? Awareness of the barriers, implications of the Mental Capacity Act. Now, you all are probably aware of that, and I'm not going to talk to you about that because some of you will love it and some of you might fall asleep. So I'll make it as interesting as I can. We're going to talk about some local resources to support individuals in the ACP process. The role and involvement of the MDT, so everybody that works in the community. It's been great to meet so many different services here today, family and carers, and we're obviously raising awareness in the community of how we can support that early decision making so that you can help yourself, loved ones, friends and patients. Okay. So what is an advanced care plan? Would anyone want to kind of shout it out to me? What do they think it is? What do they believe it to be? Lovely. Anything else? Yes, lovely, lovely. Okay. So it's a record of your preferences about your future in care and support. So it's decisions about medical treatment and end-of-life care, and sometimes known as an advance statement. So it's not legally binding. This is the important thing people need to just be aware of. It's not legally binding, but it will help those people involved in giving you the care, tailor it specifically to you and understand and respect your views and wishes. An example of this would be, if for whatever reason I lost capacity, but I was still able to drink and eat, please don't give me baked beans. I don't like baked beans. So I would have that in my advanced care plan, because actually that's tailored to me and the care that I would want to have. I want to make sure I smell nice, someone brushes my hair, and I've got my family around me. Those are the important things to me. Some people might not see those as important to them, which is why it's so important that we make it specific to our individuals. And online, obviously on Dementia UK, there's some brilliant resources for writing your own advanced care plan, and then some supporting kind of documents which can kind of talk you through it. There's also a resource that can be used where you can get help filling in your advanced care plan. And if you come and see me later, I'll go through that with you. So obviously making an advanced care plan is important for everybody, but especially with those in dementia, because it may become harder to make decisions or communicate preferences as the condition progresses. And we know that, don't we? So family, friends or loved ones can get involved and help complete the advanced care plan, and it doesn't have to be a healthcare professional. So I think sometimes there's a stigma that it should be a healthcare professional that helps you. So who would like to be involved in making decisions and who would no longer like to be involved? So you might have a patient who's got some conflict in the family, and they might not want their brother or sister or somebody in the family to be involved in their care. So this is where they would document, I only want my husband to be involved in decisions about my health and my care. How you would like to be cared for and who by. So some patients might only like to be cared for by males or females. They might only have one specific, requirement, so they might not like to be looked after by men, for example, or, alternatively women. Medical treatments you do and don't want. Obviously, this is just a preference. It's not legally binding, but we'll go a little bit into those bits later. Preferred place of death. So this is a conversation we have quite regularly, obviously, at the hospice. And it isn't a very nice conversation or question to ask. So sometimes I say, if you were to become less well, where would you want to be looked after? And they often say, well, depends how poorly I am. So you say, if you weren't going to get better, where would you like to be cared for? Okay. Funeral wishes and arrangements. Some people have a lot of fun doing this. Obviously, this whole process is optional. People don't have to do this. But some people actually find it quite empowering to make those decisions for themselves before they're unable to do that. Details of your will. Spiritual and cultural values and how they can be respected. And things that are important in your life now. So regarding spiritual and cultural values, spiritual, obviously, as you all know, isn't just religion. It's what makes you who you are. So an example of this would be a few years ago, I looked after a gentleman who had unfortunately had no family and only had one friend, which was a neighbour. He was very unwell and had quite long hair. I went to do his personal care and he said to me, I'd really like a plait like Thor, like the medieval character. So he got his tablet out and he was showing me all these French plaits, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to really test me. So I did a French plait and he loved it. A week or so later, this gentleman handed this over, every handover, that it was important to this man, he had a plait in his hair. A week or so later, he changed, he deteriorated, and unfortunately ended up dying with us. My colleague messaged me and said, I just wanted you to know that room 6, for example, passed away peacefully this morning, but he died with a plait in his hair. And that is because we tailored his care specifically to what he would want, so when he was no longer able to communicate his wishes and his needs, we fulfilled them. Okay? So personalised care and support planning. So it's a systematic process based around better conversations between the person and their health and social care practitioners. So the overall aim is to identify what is most important to each person for them to achieve a good life and ensure that that the support they receive is designed and coordinated around their desired outcomes. And as with all care, we should probably look at it in this way, but especially with end of life and palliative care, we've got one chance to get it right. If any of you aren't aware of, there is a document called The One Chance to Get It Right, and it is our bread and butter. So please take a read of that. I'm not going to talk about that into too much detail today. So the outcome is a single plan, no matter how many conditions or issues have been identified, which will be reviewed regularly. And this emphasises that both the personalised care and support planning is a continual process and not a one-off event. So just because someone's made an advanced care plan doesn't mean things can't change. There might be disputes in the family, there might be a change in heart in certain details. So it's important that we regularly review this advanced care plan if the patient's able to, communicate those wishes. Whilst it's important and a useful document, it's the personalised care and support planning process, as well as the conversation, which is at the heart of this new relationship of working. So it's all about communication and communicating effectively. Okay. So I think this one here is probably one of the most important slides, really. So the benefits to our families. So families and those important to the dying person will feel more confident in the knowledge that they are aware of the choices the person would make if able to do so. So historically, I've looked after many different patients, and it's absolutely heartbreaking when they've never had a conversation whether they want burial or cremation. So I looked after a young firefighter years and years ago, and they never had that conversation, him and his wife. And she had to make that decision for him. So, and the rationale she chose was, well, he spent his life fighting fires, he'll have a burial. But actually, if they'd had those conversations earlier, he would have been able to make that choice himself. And it would have actually helped with her grieving process, because she wouldn't have had to make all of those decisions on his behalf. So my grandmother had an advanced decision, and her wishes were respected at the end of life. It made every decision so much easier for our family regarding our care, and I want to do the same thing for my family. So it's just about kind of planning, really, and caring for our family even when we aren't here, and doing those things to kind of help in our absence. So benefits to staff. So confidence in the delivery of the care, a palliative and end-of-life care that we give based on patient-specific goals, priorities and values documented when or if that person becomes too ill to communicate those decisions. Opportunity to engage more with that person and to get to know them better. So it's nice to be able to get to know people. If somebody really likes football, you could pop the football on for them, even if they aren't able to communicate their needs or wishes, or if they're in a kind of comatose, near-death situation. Giving them meaningfulness and a sense of fulfillment. Improved communication and the reduction in potential conflict or misunderstanding between the person and those important to them and the care. So most of you have probably heard of the ambitions document, and one of our main ambitions is making sure that all staff are prepared to care. So this framework sets out our vision to improve end-of-life care through partnership and collaboration action between organisations at a local level throughout England, and obviously more locally Cornwall. So as I said, I'm not going to go into the Mental Capacity Act to a great deal, because I'm sure all of you in here could tell me a thing or two about it. So we have to make sure we've got assumption of capacity unless proven otherwise. All practical steps must be taken to support people to make their own decisions. People have the right to make unwise or eccentric decisions. I think that's a very, very important one to consider. Just because you might not agree with what somebody has decided doesn't mean it's wrong. Any decision made on behalf of a person who lacks capacity must be in their best interests, and rights and freedoms must be restricted as little as possible. And I just really liked this picture, so I put it on its own slide afterwards just because it was colourful and it looked quite happy. So I don't know if anybody wants to take a picture of that. You're welcome to. I just thought it would be helpful. Okay. So moving swiftly on to best interest. So if a person has been assessed as lacking capacity, then any action taken or any decision made for them or on behalf of that patient must be in their best interest. And we all know that, don't we? So the Mental Capacity Act provides a non-exhaustive list of factors that decision makers must work through in deciding what is in the person's best interests. So it's going to involve our clinical team, our relatives, lasting power of attorney. The patient really should be in the middle there where best interest says, because the patient is at the centre of this. Independent mental capacity advocate and the Court of Protection. So there's lots of things to consider, and it can be quite complicated, as I'm sure you guys are all aware. So these three things are kind of come under the Mental Capacity Act. So we've got the advanced statement of wishes and preferences, an ADRT, so advanced decision to refuse treatment, and then you've got your LPAs. And I'm just going to very, very briefly run over these just to talk about the importance and the legally binding aspects of them. So advanced statements are not legally binding, but must be taken into account when making best interest decisions. So that's our advanced care planning, okay? Useful to inform and guide decision making in the future if the person subsequently loses their capacity to make decisions about their care, okay? So an ADRT, so an advanced decision to refuse treatment. So some people may have strong feelings about treatment or interventions they would choose not to have. So making an advanced decision to refuse treatment would be the right decision for them. There's criteria, so they must be over the age of 18 and have capacity to make the decision. It must relate to the refusal of specified treatments in specified circumstances. So it could be, for example, oncological treatment if they've got a cancer diagnosis. In the event that an individual has lost capacity to make those decisions. And it's legally binding if valid and applicable to kind of that period of illness, okay? Provides legal and clinical instruction to the team caring for that patient, okay? Is everybody happy with that? Lasting power of attorney, so it's just really just kind of an overview. So it's a power under the Mental Capacity Act that allows an individual to appoint another person to act on their behalf in relation to certain decisions regarding their financial, welfare and or health and care matters. So a person can appoint more than one LPA to act for different types of decisions. There are two types, property and finance and health and welfare. And when appointing an LPA for health and welfare, you must choose whether you do or do not give authority for the attorney to give or refuse consent to life-sustaining treatment on your behalf. So they're legally binding if registered with the Office of Public Guardian. It's all very serious conversation. I'm very sorry. I'm glad it's not in the afternoon, because it'll be like the graveyard kind of slot while everyone's kind of drifting off to sleep. Okay, so barriers. So obviously we know, what do we think the barriers to advanced care planning are? I spoke to a few of you about it when you came and saw me upstairs just a minute ago. What do we think one of the main barriers are to advanced care planning? Anybody? Yeah? Yeah, nobody wants to talk about advanced care planning because they think they're talking about death. And if they think they talk about death, they think it's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah? Anybody else? Anybody else? No, that's it. So it's all about, yeah, we don't have those conversations because they're difficult, aren't they? They're not always, we don't always know the answers. You know, a common question is, well, how long have I got? Why are we having this conversation? Can you tell me how long I've got left? When actually we can't always give an exact science to that, can we? And those conversations are really quite difficult to have. Communication barriers in the sense of language. That's something we sometimes deal with, isn't it? You know, we don't all speak the same language. But yeah, the main one is it's a taboo subject. Death and dying is a bit of a taboo subject, isn't it? Nobody likes to talk about it. So when we're having these conversations, obviously we need to think about if they need somebody with them. Have they got the right support? Are we equipped enough with the information to be able to support that individual in having this conversation? And do we have all the appropriate resources to enable them to document what they would like? And I think time is a big thing, especially if you work on an inpatient unit or if you go around in the community to people's homes, making sure you actually have the time. Somebody have a hand at the back? Yes. Yes. That is, yeah. Did everybody hear that? So you said one of the main problems that it's not legally binding. So that's one of the main issues that we feel. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And what should the discussions include? So we've got ACP booklets upstairs. You can kind of get them anywhere, really. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them from Temu. There's some quite funny ones, actually, you can buy online. Quite funny ones that you can buy. And it just is literally a document that you fill in based on your wishes. It doesn't have to be exact. It can be on any bit of paper. But by having the booklets, it just gives you a framework of kind of what the sort of things you need to be thinking about. I asked my mum to fill one in, and she just put, "Don't let me have whiskers." That was her main thing. Don't let me have a beard. Yeah, yeah, bless her. So we'll go on to Spiritual Gateway. So this is a resource I would recommend anybody to use, and kind of shown it when you're a student nurse and you don't think you'll ever use it, but actually I've used it so many times. It's just on Google, type in the Spiritual Gateway, and it's got every different religion and belief on there for you to look at. And it looks at care of the patient, care of the dying patient, key beliefs, and eating and drinking. So really, really good resource to use to be able to tailor that care to our patients specifically, especially if they're unable to communicate. We can look at what they would like, especially in regards to things like last offices. Some religions prefer, to be facing a certain way, and they prefer, family to do last offices. All those sorts of things are really important for us to check. So this is a video, and I do apologise because it can sometimes spark a bit of emotion, but this is kind of emphasising the importance of an advanced care plan and why it's so important that we fill it in. It's available on YouTube, but it's from Dying Matters, and I don't want it all to be about dying, because it's not. It's about planning for the future. It doesn't mean death's going to be really soon. So obviously, if you need to leave, through watching this, feel free, or come and talk to me at the end if you've got any questions. All right.
Dad? 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 Granddad, are you okay? Dad! Dad, you're frightening me, Dad! Dad!
Granddad needs to go to hospital.
But why?
Oh, sweetheart, look at him.
Don't.
Don't what?
I'm not having a go. I'm just saying, why can't he stay here where they can send experts to look after him? At least then he's surrounded by people that love him. You know him. He's your dad.
I do know him. I know exactly what he wants, and he doesn't want this.
Hey, what would you do?
Never mind what I do. This isn't about me. I know what he wants, and you don't. He's going to hospital, and that is that.
I'm so sorry this has happened. I know you wanted what was the best for me. But I didn't want that.
Your brother's talked a lot about you. He's got very fond memories of you both growing up. Now, David, your brother is very poorly. And he's reached the stage where I'm afraid we can do no more to actively treat his cancer. What we can do is keep him comfortable and pain-free. I know this might be difficult, but did your brother ever talk to you about resuscitation?
OK, we've got Gareth, hypertensive, found collapsed at home, pulse rate 120. We just realised he stopped breathing.
Well, at this stage, cardiopulmonary resuscitation would not ultimately be successful.
Gareth? Gareth?
I don't think resuscitation would be of any benefit to your brother at all. What are your feelings about that?
He's too young to die. I want you to do everything you can. Get some pads on. Okay, so we've got clear. So I'm charging. Carry on with chest compressions. Everybody else stand clear. Please don't let him die. Stand clear. Shocking.
I know why you did it. That really hurt. I didn't want that.
Get all this stuff loaded up.
No, it's fine now. It's lots. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, mind foot. Mind ducks.
No.
I'll tell you what, they're nice then.
No, a lot of room. Be nice to get down at the pub. What time's the next job?
An hour. All right.
We've got an hour.
We're good. Mind your ass. All right, don't know about too much, will you? You all right, love?
Come on then. You carry this one.
I wanted her to be looked after. I didn't want that.
But I'm not a stereotype. I didn't want that.
You get nothing from there. Does it come in a month? Six. Oh! Aye!
He was all I had. I wanted him to be looked after. I didn't want that.
I do know him. I know exactly what he wants.
Stand clear. Shocking.
If there are things you don't want, as well as things you do, you need to make plans. Dying Matters can help.
Everybody okay? You know, the general theme that people say to me is the dog okay? That is the main thing people tend to ask after watching that video. It's really upsetting. I found that video really quite sad when I first watched it, but it just emphasises the importance of having those kind of difficult conversations as early as we can, kind of early diagnosis, and then trying to work as a team to get the patient the care that they want and they need, tailored to them specifically. So lots of resources out there we can use. I have a few copies of the Advanced Care Plan and Planning for the Future documents, and these are also available on the RCHT documents library now. We've also got a similar card to the one you see in the middle. It's a little bit like your Tesco Club card, where you can have one in your wallet and one attached to your keys. But it's about saying that you've made an advanced care plan. So in the event you're out and about, something happens, somebody can have a look, they'll check your ID in your purse, and they'll see that you've got an ACP as well. Okay, lovely. And then I just found some more resources which I found really helpful. Compassion in Dying had some really helpful bits and bobs on there. And if you call this number, I'm pretty sure it's this number. I'll check in my pack upstairs, but they'll give support on how to fill out the advanced care plan, and any help with the documents. There's lots of guides online as well. Any questions? No?
Yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you, Hayley. What a tearjerker, and such an important topic for us all to kind of talk about, and certainly in the work I do at the community hospital, it's a really important topic. Because my husband's here today, actually, I probably thought I should say and share what I want on my advanced care plan, although he probably already knows. It probably involved my dog pudding. Probably involve being able to dip my toes in the sea, because I like sea swimming. It might involve a Baileys, but it has to be with an ice cube. But also, and my mother-in-law summed this up really well for me recently, because she bought me a mug that says, "I like ketchup on my ketchup." I want ketchup, and it has to be Heinz. So if my husband Simon's listening, I think he probably already knows that those things are in my advanced kind of care plan.